Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about how to get more tech for your students. Today's topic is going over how to get more tech access for our students. Now, one of the big things, especially in my district, that I'm having to deal with a number of teachers and colleagues and people around my county district area, is getting access to YouTube videos, access to sites for my students, for my classes, as well as for other teachers that I work with. We have issues where we can't access certain videos on YouTube because they don't give access to YouTube. The reason that they don't give access, and this is with most of these programs.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
You have your IT department for your district, and they don't want to give access, open access to any platform, any website, just because they cannot guarantee that if a student accesses a website, that their information, their data is kept privately and securely. And I understand that. Kind of as a generalized thing, you don't want your stuff out there if you didn't give authorization and access to put it out there in the first place. That does hold us back as educators of trying to use some of the tools that we would normally use in class. Me, I'm a big proponent of YouTube. I love YouTube. Because I have YouTube and I want to have access to all these YouTube videos, what do I need to do? So a term that you've heard probably thrown around is whitelisting. Whitelisting, and I'm using Rand Research Foundation for this stuff. I'll put the links down below. Website whitelisting. Whitelisting is a browser extension that allows users to identify sites to be whitelisted and prevents any requests to the sites not listed on that list. The extension also blocks external tracking and advertising websites. Nutshell, having your IT department identify what is a safe site or what you've given access to kind of also takes out some of the pop-ups and anything else that could be a tracker. We're tracking your cookies. These things are kind of kept at bay, so then your students can peruse the website or peruse the video that you've linked without having a lot of issues on their end, so that their information is kept private and secure. Now, one tool that I have in my arsenal is getting stuff whitelisted. For me, I use a lot of YouTube videos. So we're going to talk about how to create a playlist real simply, real easily, that you probably already have on your computer already. I have all the playlists that I usually create for all my stuff in general. I have a virtual teaching toolbox, sculpture, Inktober, and then my drone school, because when I got my drone license, I had to do a lot of studying, so I just made a whole playlist on that. So if you're curious about drones and doing stuff with drones, throw something down in the comments, because I would love to make some videos on that. First things first, do you have a YouTube page already? Yes, most people do. If you have been issued a Chromebook, your school or district or whatever had to set up a Gmail account for you on that Chromebook to check out to see if you have that access. Now we're going to open up our Chromebook. The top right hand corner up here, you have that little icon that has like your letter or initial or number, depending on what you first, depending on how your name is in there. So once you open up your account and you know what your account is, write it down, passwords and all that kind of stuff. Most of us have a running list of passwords, account and all that. I have apps that do that also. You're going to then click on, we all call either the waffle, the app drawer, the 9 grid button at the top there, and you can go to YouTube. Now, once you're on YouTube, you'll pull up all the different things, all the different videos that you're into, and see the stuff that you have access to. We're going to do a search for a video. For me, I'm doing a bunch of paper craft items right now. So the one thing that I'm working on is stuff with cardboard. That's what I'm looking into. So I found a video for 25 incredible cardboard crafts to make at home. Now, will I be using this whole video in a class? Maybe, but I know that I definitely want to come back to this and check it out for future reference. To save this on a playlist, we're going to go over to the save button, click save. It's going to pull up my list of playlists that I already have, but because it doesn't fit into any of those categories, I'm going to create a new playlist at the bottom. For this, we're just going to call this crafts. Do I want this private or public? Right now, I can select, it can be selected as public. Anybody can search or view it. Unlisted, anyone with the link can view it. Or private, only I can view that. Now, once I've clicked over on my channel again, over on the left side here, we have all the different playlists already on there. So I can click on crafts. Once I've clicked on crafts, I can see the video that I added in there, and I can access any of those videos at any time. So another example here, we have my ceramics tutorial playlist where I have all my videos already in here for ceramics, and I can then send that entire playlist to students, or I can post it in my Teams class, or I can post it on Google Meets, wherever you guys are posting stuff, so that you guys can get that out there. Now, how do you get that whitelisted? Now, your IT department identifies what stuff can be whitelisted. So you have to submit, for us, it's a help ticket where we fill out a form with what do we need open, or what do we need access to. If we have a Chromebook issue, if we have a desktop issue, any of these things that happen, we fill out a form and submit it. You will submit the entire URL, which is the top. You're going to submit the whole URL, which is the website address that you want access to, and you'll just put that into the memo of that you need access to this. It needs to be whitelisted. Now, once you've added that playlist to be accessed, any other videos that you drop into the playlist will automatically be whitelisted as well. So they only are opening that one thing, and you can keep adding into that. So it's a long-term solution to a short-term problem. Finally, I wanted to go over some screen recording software, because some of us have things that we want to show to our students, and we just need to record some things that we just need to record some clips off the screen. If you went through a simple process of like me when I was doing Google Canvas the other week, check out that video. You can use a screen recorder to record your screen, so then you can play that as a mini video clip for your students to see it, so that they can do the same process on their Chromebook or whatever digital device that they're using. I went on to Tech Radar, which the link's in the description for that. Tech Radar goes over the 5 main screen recording softwares that they use. Again, I think these are all free, but I'll tell you the 2 that I really recommend. The first one here is OBS. OBS is a fantastic piece of software. I actually love it. Most Twitch streamers, YouTubers, anybody who's like recording a lot of stuff off their screen, they use OBS. It's an open broadcasting software. The reason why I like OBS is because OBS does a lot of things all at once. It will record your screen. It'll also record you talking. So it's actually picking up my mic right now. So that's why you can see the levels change on the screen there. As I talk, the levels change. So as I stop talking, everything goes mute, and then it comes back when I start talking again. That's really important if you're giving directions during the time where you're going through a screen grab, and that way you don't have to say it again when you're reteaching the lesson, because if we're recording something, we don't want to teach it but the one time. That's why I started doing this, because I couldn't do linear perspective anymore. And being able to record your audio, set your screen transitions. You can start recording. You can do a virtual camera, which is where you can set up different cameras. You can record from different pieces as well. So I have this hooked up to my display capture, which is the screen itself, my Yi mini cam that I use to record on sometimes. I have my big camera that I'm actually recording on right now. I've actually tried to sync it in. I'm still having a couple issues with that. But there's a lot of options and variables that I can use. If you're not using OBS, the second one that I really recommend is Screencast-O-Matic. A lot of my friends use this one. I haven't used it before, but it's really simple to use. You kind of just create an account, you download the software, and it's kind of a click and go kind of thing. I will say Screencast-O-Matic is a lot more simplified than OBS. OBS has a lot of, you gotta know a little bit more about software. The benefit of OBS is there's like 1 million YouTube videos on how to use OBS because it's open source. So there's a blog, there's chat rooms that you can go into, ask these questions. It's a very useful community. They like to help out. So let that be more of a benefit than a hindrance. One other screen recording option that you guys have is the Nvidia Geforce experience. That is built into anybody who has a Geforce built into your laptop or your computer. Me, I have a 1070 in my computer, so the 10 series, the 20 series, the 30 series software should be built in there. Just look up the Geforce experience and how to do screen recording. You can always tell that by the little sticker that's next to your Intel or AMD sticker, whatever your main circuit board is running, what graphics card you're running. That's going to be AMD or Nvidia. Those are the only two that really exist. Once in here, you can do a screenshot photo mode or game filter, instant replay, recording, or broadcasting live. So you can record your stuff directly from the computer without having to download anything else, and it kind of works seamlessly with just recording stuff in general. I use it all the time when I'm doing screen grabs of websites and I'm kind of going through little bits of information. That's what I use because it's easy. And finally, because this got brought up in a meeting for me, is copyright exemptions. So when you're dealing with this, I pulled up Purdue's law, extension of their law library. Educational usage of materials falls into a really gray category. You have to follow the letter of the law because we are law-abiding citizens, but there's a lot more gray area to work with. Now, I'm not going to go through each of these. Most of these fall into the fair use category. So how much you're using of the copyrighted stuff. There's a section on here on Purdue's. That's why I pulled this one up. There's a face-to-face instruction and a virtual instruction section that's on here. Now, are these isolated to just Indiana? I don't know, just because I haven't done enough research into it. So look at the Fair Use Copyright Office, which is also at copyright.gov, fair use, more info. The link's down below. And they go over a little more detail of the federal law as far as copyright goes. My rule of thumb is this. It's like 15% of... It's Geico. You can't use more than 15% of a copyrighted entity. Same rule on YouTube there. So any copyrighted music that gets played, you can only play up to 15 seconds before YouTube will automatically demonetize the video. So that's why people have to really hunt for music and background things. And people are always concerned about a radio that's playing in the background, because if the radio is up too high and it records that audio, that can also completely just like demonetize the video. So do some research. Best person to ask is your librarian. My librarian sends out a copyright form every beginning of every year. Ask them about some copyright. If you got specific copyright issues, best rule of thumb, always err on the side of a very conservative stance on copyright. You don't want to get into trouble using copyright stuff just up front. My stuff that I use on YouTube all the time, I'm a heavy encourager of you guys watching these videos and using these videos in class, specifically through the YouTube platform. I'm a staunch pusher of using YouTube because it is universal. We have apps on our phone, we have apps on our Chromebooks, we have apps already installed on most desktops. Use that to your benefit. It's already there. It plays without any issue, except for that one time when we lost it for 2 hours worldwide and everybody lost their minds. Use the tools that you guys have at hand. Again, I'm always going to be pushing, get out there, learn, educate yourself as much as you possibly can. Be knowledgeable, and that'll benefit the students always. I hope this gave you guys some good information to how to get some of those websites or YouTube videos to your students, because IT won't let them automatically. I hope this made life a lot easier for some of y'all. As always, if you guys have a question, comment, or concern, raise those hands down in the comments below. Don't forget to take care of that homework, which is like, subscribe, share on all the various platforms. Gotta get the message out there to more teachers, more students, trying to get everybody as knowledgeable as possible, because education and knowledge is what'll save us at the end. And other than that, I think I'll see you guys next class. Later, guys.